Donald Trump has plans to steal Greenland. It's ironic, though. Put it up full mass. We have the information, okay? So a New York Times reporting, it says Trump's administration has crafted a formal plan to take control of Greenland. He's fascinated with this. Although the alleged plan currently does not involve using military force to seize the territory. It involves a crafted propaganda campaign. How the reported plan will work. So the Times reports that the Trump administration is crafting a propaganda campaign aimed at convincing Greenlanders that it would be in their best interest to join the United States. Quote, the U.S. messaging campaign will include an unlikely appeal to Greenlanders, shared heritage with the native people of Alaska, nearly 2,500 miles away. The Times sources says Greenland's Inuit population is descendant from people who migrated from Alaska hundreds of years ago. And the island's official language is derived from those dialects originated in Arctic Canada. Other ideas being kicked around by the administration include paying $10,000 to every Greenlander should they agree to join the United States. There's more. The Times notes that convincing Greenlanders to join the U.S. will not be an easy task. However, given how incredibly unpopular the idea has proven with the people who are currently living there, a recent poll showed that 6% of Greenlanders approve of the idea. 85% said they were opposed. Got more sense than us. The Times added that should the propaganda campaign in Greenland fail to achieve its desired results, then, quote, it is possible that Mr. Trump would escalate his tactics. What? I'll put it up. Mediaite reports a U.S. Space Force colonel was removed from her position as commander of a space base in Greenland on Thursday after she disavowed Vice President J.D. Vance's remarks about acquiring the Danish territory. Why do we have a space base in Greenland? That's the actual question that I have. What is happening here? Okay. Space Operations Command announced on Thursday evening that Colonel Susanna Myers had been relieved of her command just hours after it was revealed. She sent out an email disavowing. I cannot believe this is real. Vance's following a visit by the vice president to the space base, she wrote, I spent the weekend thinking about Friday's visit by Vance, the actions taken, the words spoken, and how it must have affected each of you, wrote Myers in an email. Quote, I do not presume to understand current politics, but what I do know is the concerns of the U.S. administration discussed by Vice President Vance on Friday are not reflective of a thick space base. She concluded, quote, I commit that for as long as I'm lucky enough to lead this base, all of our flags will proudly fly together. So Scott Jennings and Tiffany Cross battled it over, CNN yesterday.
It's a colonizer's attitude to say, I like it, I'm just going to steal it. Now, the fact of the matter is, in this new land, you cannot just go and say, I like it, it's mine now. It doesn't work that way. Well, that is what they're trying to do. And in this new world order, yeah, absolutely. When they're looking at Greenland and say, I like it, I want to take it for mine, that is a very colonizing attitude.
I have never, ever said we're going to go to Greenland and, quote, colonize it or steal it.
You're not a member of government, so you're irrelevant at that point. I'm talking about the president of the United States doing that.
You got fired from your job.
You can agitate.
If you want to engage in personal insults,
I don't, but you
what
do.
You lack in a legitimate point, you make up for in personal
I don't. You
personal insults. The point I am making is in this new world order, we are looking at countries, whether or not they're an adversary or ally, it is being determined on what kind of deal we can get. And we cannot govern, we cannot legislate that way. We are increasingly isolated on the world stage.
No, we're not.
So if
Okay. Everyone knows how I feel about the non-talented white male at CNN who continues to remain employed despite not having a damn thing brilliant to ever say, doesn't do a good job defending what cannot be defended. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Greenland. They're not making plans. I mean, if they had this kind of energy to figure out how you can have a livable wage across the board, beautiful. If they were talking about how to bring down the cost of living, great. If they were discussing how you're going to get your Social Security checks on time, well done. They're talking about stealing Greenland. All right, Yasmin, thoughts?
Yeah, this is when Trump first started talking about Greenland. This is back during his first term in office. We all thought that is an insane thing for him to be saying. But the thing with Trump is that a lot of people didn't realize at the time. Some people still don't understand. The thing with Trump is that whenever he says something, he doesn't unsay it, right? He doesn't always forget about the things that he says, especially the things that he pursues for longer than like a day or two, right? Or sometimes he'll say, oh, remember that thing that I said? Let's go back to that. Things don't go away for him the way that we would like them to, unless he has some people around him who make the things go away for him. So Trump doesn't understand a world where he can't just buy the things that he wants, right? I mean, why wouldn't he think that he can just buy the things that he wants? We all just watched him buy an election with all of that Elon money, and they kept trying to do it in various races across the country up until like a few weeks ago. So also, the idea that Greenlanders will feel solidarity with the people of Alaska and then want to be in the same country as these people who are 2,500 miles away from them is crazy, because honestly, isn't it weird that Alaska is even a part of this country? I'm not talking about geopolitics, but just geographically. Wouldn't it make more sense geographically for Alaska to be independent or at least a part of Canada? Trump doesn't want to have that conversation, though. Also, I wonder if Trump is underestimating the people of Greenland. Americans are uneducated. That's proven, right? Most American adults read at a 6th grade level. Europeans are not uneducated. They understand history. They understand literature. They understand how to deal with people like Trump. They've been making fun of Trump for the last 10 years while we've, just kept putting him on our ballots. But as he pointed out, Trump has not offered the people of Greenland anything better or more than what they're already getting as a part of Europe. So we're going to have to see how this plays out. I don't think he's going to drop it. We know that he has ulterior motives for wanting to get Greenland. We know that this is probably the tech guys like Elon who are behind this push. But yeah, and it is colonization because they want Greenland for its resources. They don't care about the people. They don't care about, the strategic positioning of it. They want it so they can usurp it.
That's right. And while racism exists everywhere, you don't have the same fascination with white supremacy in Greenland that you have in America.